Hello, I'm PJ Bishop. Welcome to Out of the Park Baseball 25 and the New York Mets Dynasty Simulation. 1 month is under the books, and we are not looking good here. 13 and 17, 12 games outside of our division. Only 4 games below 500, but our division looks like it's going to be impossible to catch up to, with Atlanta at a ridiculous 25 and 5. But we're only 2.5 games out of a wild card spot, so it's not impossible. It's just we need to get a little bit healthier, and just one little run would help, just to get us back with the pack. Within a game or half a game will be nice. But we're not that far off, considering that we're really lacking in the pitching department. As you can see here, our runs scored is top half in the league, tied for 6, and that's mainly because we're top 5 in home runs, and we're number 1 in stolen bases, and our base running is second. So we're doing really well here. This is where you can help squeeze out some of those extra runs that a normal team or an average team might not have been able to get. So maybe you have average hitters, but you're able to do a little extra on the base paths to help generate some runs, and that's probably why we're sitting here instead of closer to the bottom third or bottom half of the league. Because tied for 6 isn't bad. It's not great, but when you combine tied for 6 with runs against 13th, you're going to get yourself a team that's probably below 500 and struggling to be relevant. And that's where we are. And unfortunately, it's hard to fix something like pitching in the middle of the season. Hitting, you can keep toying with things and keep calling guys up and down and keep tweaking your lineup up, and then you might eventually get that nice little sweet spot, and finally everything is clicking. But also health is a major factor. We did lose a couple of guys. Still waiting for David Peterson to come back and for Cody. I think if both of these guys can come back, we're looking at a much better team. So we're still looking at 2 and 3 weeks. So hopefully this month, by the end of the month, they're actually fully stretched out and ready to play. But we did miss Harrison Bader. I called him up, and of course, as soon as he starts playing well for me, plays in 12 games, he's hitting over 300, 1,000 OPS, and then he gets hurt. I have to put him away. And then really, right, I think in the same game, Brandon Nimmo's the same thing. 892 OPS, batting over 300, and also gets hurt. So losing 2 key batters in our lineup that were playing extremely well is a huge blow for us. And they're still out for us. So really, we're going to get healthy by the end of the month. It looks like we're going to be hopefully fully healthy if no more new injuries pop up. But part of baseball, there is injuries. Just hopefully they're not the guys that I deem as important. Let's take a look at the lineup and how it looks now. I did change it up a little bit. One of the things is, as you start playing, you're going to get more splits. You're going to get statistics coming out. I like to play by statistics as well, not solely based everything off ratings. If I did everything based off ratings, the game would be extremely boring, as you just consistently keep putting the same guys in the same order every single time. And, well, that just sounds boring. Why give me stats if they don't mean anything? So, saying that, my leadoff hitter is Rowdy Jordan, and he's one of those guys that maybe in the beginning of the year you were like, what are you doing? Why would you call up a guy from Double-A all the way up to the majors? Well, because he's playing pretty darn well. I liked what I saw here, and as you can see here, he's batting over 829 OPS, batting over 300, gets on base at over 400%. So, if you ask me, I think it's working out quite nicely. So it was a good decision, in my opinion, to call him up all the way up from Double-A to the majors. I'm not saying he's Michael Harris, because he's definitely not playing like Michael Harris. He doesn't have the power. But at least he's hitting for average, and he's able to steal bases. And he's doing good right now. So good enough to be my leadoff hitter. Although unfortunately he's got the flu or something. He's a little sick, under the weather, so he'll be out for possibly a little over half a week. But it is nice to see that sometimes you see something in your organization um, that you think will help out your major league club, and you're correct. And here he is. Batting number 2, and really surprising me this year, is catcher Francisco Alvarez. Um, I like this. It looks like he's getting better and better. Better than I initially thought. He's finally hitting for average, which is definitely helping. As you can see, right now he's got it improved all the way up to 261, which is even better than the year he had over 1,000 OPS in AAA. Although that was only in 4 games, so he dropped it back here. And he's hitting home runs. He's got 6 home runs already. On pace for what? On pace for 32 homers. I mean, if he keeps it up, of course. But he's playing really well. Can't complain too much, and he's got plenty of room to improve. He's young too. I like to see a couple young guys. The center fielder is only 25. He's 22. Batting number 3, and is left fielder DJ Stewart. Again, he's batting pretty well enough to, his OPS is above average. His average is sitting well. Like everything about it, he's a good overall solid hitter. That's why I got him here at number 3, and he's got a little pop. He's not outstanding, but he's doing good enough. He was playing really well at AAA. Obviously, that's not going to translate exactly like that to the majors, but it's okay, and he's had history of playing better. I mean, if you look at the year before, he was in the 840s. Right now, he's in 798. So, could he improve a little bit? Maybe. We'll find out. But he's an older vet, and he's not looking bad. Called him up, obviously due to the injuries. Batting in our cleanup spot is my shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Nothing bad I can say about him. He's been playing well through the year. 6 homers already, also one of those guys on pace for 32. We'd like to see his average go up, considering that he does have bat-to-ball skills. So seeing his average being a little low is surprising. It's probably just keeping his OPS, although this is kind of on par with his career if you look at that. So I don't know what to tell you here. I guess this is what we're going to get from him, which is still good because we're still getting elite defense, which is at shortstop. So I got a cleanup hitter at shortstop who also plays elite defense and is a threat on the bases. He's stolen 14 bases, has been caught 0 times. So which is phenomenal. So can't really complain there. Batting number 5, and I have him set at DH, is Pete Alonso. Really slow start to the year. Batting average is at 173, but he hits home runs, so it's hard not to play him when he's hitting so many home runs. It's just his batting average is just below 200 is really bad. I mean, even his OPS isn't that great at 585. But he still keeps hitting home runs, and it's hard to keep somebody out like that. Hopefully he gets it figured out. Because if you imagine him getting on a hot streak and getting his batting average back up to even 225 would be fantastic. That would really help us in the win column, I think. Anyway, batter number 6 is our second baseman, Jeff McNeil. He's been a solid contributor throughout the year. Yes, he's got a slightly average OPS, but his average has been really well. So he's been able to get on base. So maybe some of that is luck, maybe. Just having to hit in the right spot. But he's got a 283 average. So playing a lot of games too. But I like what I see in him. And again, he's pretty versatile. So when I need to move him around to put him in a different position, he's able to go there. Especially this year with some of the injuries that we were facing. Batting number 7 now is my third baseman, Mark Vientos. Been a pleasant call-up since I mean, he's had some instances where he was phenomenal. And then he's had, I guess, less than stellar days. I think I have him now strictly as a right-handed bat because he was playing much better versus righties than he was lefties. So right now we got him just in the right-hand lineups, and hopefully that will help improve his stats. I think we can actually see his batting stats. We can versus left. He's got an OPS of 581 this year. While versus right, he's got an OPS of 704. Yeah, so much better against righties. Even in AAA, 927 in AAA. What was he in lefties? Yeah. So he's struggling. So he's been definitely doing much worse versus lefties. So we have him platooning at third base. So hopefully, as he matures and gets better, so will his splits versus the lefties if he can play him full time. Looks like he can develop into a really elite first baseman and even a solid left fielder. Third base, surprisingly, he doesn't have that great. I guess his arm strength isn't that much strong. So third base is probably not his permanent home, but it does the job now. Batting number 8 is first baseman Luke Ritter. He was a call-up, just a recent call-up that I had, mainly because he was absolutely destroying it in the minors, as you can see here, 1100 OPS. So I figured, hey, why not? You're hitting that well down there. Peter Alonso has been kind of cold at first, but I'm not going to take him out of the lineup. So we'll let you play first base, which is a good position for him. He can also play second if I need, but I'd rather not. So not much to say about him. We'll find out how he actually plays once the games start. And then batting number 9 is our right fielder, Drew Gilbert, one of our top prospects, number 93. I like him a lot. Got called up because of the injuries, and the small sample size is showing that he has the potential to be really good. I think he was doing really well at AAA too. Well, he was doing okay. 874 is not crazy good, but it was good enough. I'd like to hope he can sustain this. If he can sustain this, then he's going to keep his spot in the lineup. But he's still got plenty of room to improve, as you can see here. Pretty much can improve all across the board. Got him in right field, even though it doesn't show him good at right field right now. But he's got the skill set to play. He can really play anywhere, but left field is where I would like to permanently put him. I think on a fully healthy squad, left field would be his home. But with so many injuries and so many guys moving around, I got him sitting at right field. So that's that. That's the lineup versus the righties. A couple of the guys I did end up calling up, because my lefty lineup is slightly different. Who's new in the lefty line? Stanley here. In lefties, I got Stanley Consuegra. Now, he's one of those weird things where sometimes players just start playing way better than you think. Because he started off in AA, 1100 OPS. Then I sent him to AAA. Well, did slow him down there, over 1000 OPS. So I given him a chance to show what he's got. So he's got, and he'll get some good run, as he'll be again in against the lefties. And of course, if I have any injuries or something, he'll have a chance to come in and play, because his ratings don't look great. So, but for some reason, it's translating on the baseball field, and we'll see what happens in the majors. And then I couldn't help but put him in. Tomas Nido. He did earn. His splits, even though actually his stats don't look bad. He's got a 700 OPS, batting nearly 300. Although I think that's going to go down eventually. I don't know. He's a solid defender. Can't take that away from him. I had to put him at first base one game too, which he can play pretty well if he's given more reps there. But I didn't really want to put him into the lineup against lefties or righties. He just didn't have enough at bats for me to. Nor did I think he's really that good. But for some reason, he's as you can see here, he's played better and better. got his OPS up slowly and slowly, but he could be back to this again. But it's okay. He's good enough defensively, so just against lefties is fine. It was just hard to keep him out of the lineup when he's playing so well against lefties. He was actually like my best hitter versus lefties, split-wise. Like if you look at the OPS and everything, but just didn't have enough at-bats for me to really, truly trust him. We'll see what he does moving forward. So that's the lineup for both my righty and lefty splits. One good thing about the season, as more and more repetitions and at-bats come into play, you get a better idea of how your splits should be and who should be batting against what. Pitching did change a little bit. For the most part, the starters are still mostly the same. My best starter is Adrian Hauser, which is funny because that's the kid that I made fun of. And here he is sitting with a solid 3.25 ERA, just not able to get any run support. As you can see, he's 1-3. Chaminet's got a better win record, or 2-3, with a much higher ERA. But none of these guys are doing phenomenal. So it's tough to win when your pitching is this bad all across the board. They call it up Jose Bato. Nothing jumps out because it doesn't. His statistics aren't. His ratings aren't great. He's 26 years old. He's not the youngest guy, but he's not the oldest guy. But this year he's got a 2.7 ERA, which is elite level. His last year for the Mets, he did have a 3.64 which is good. That is a good ERA. Obviously, the year before got lit up, but he was probably 24 that year. So we'll see what he does. He's performed really well down in the minors. Maybe he can be that small little difference maker that helps us. But he's more than likely will be back into the minors or sent to the bullpen once we're healthy. And my bullpen is a little different. Had to change up some of the arms here. Just kind of trying to figure out who's the actual good high leverage guys versus the guys that just come in for some minor middle relief. A couple of new guys. As you can see here, we have Yaxel Rios. He's just a veteran, solid veteran that was performing well. Wow, that's insane. That stinks to always have that permanently stuck on your record. Anytime you look him up, you'd see a 37.8 ERA in 2023. But right now, he's sporting in AAA at 3.29, which I'm hoping will translate to at least an average ERA with us, which is fine, considering how bad we've had other guys. And then I also called up Cole Sulzer, another veteran, 34-year-old. Nothing jumps out ratings-wise. But his ERA was, again, really good in the in AAA, so I'm hoping it translates to at least minimum average to help us with our abysmal pitching here. As you can see, bullpen ERA is 14th. So how much worse can they really be? Even if they're average, it can't be the 14th worst ERA. And that should help us. So that's the big difference there. Is a couple of pitching changes, some lineup changes. Hopefully, by the end of the month, if you can just hover around this, at least hover around the same percentage here, maybe slightly creep up and get a little better. Once we add our pieces back, the 2 starting pitchers and the 2 outfielders, perhaps we can make a run at least for a wild card spot. Because I think the division is out of reach. 12 games. That's ridiculous. 25-5. Let's take a look at the top prospects. See how they're doing here. Go to all players. Yes, I added a pitcher, even though he's not really. As you can see, he's only got 2-star potential, but he was the pitcher of the month in High A, I believe. He was with a .71 ERA, which is insane. And he had 7 saves. He's pitching phenomenal. So I figured, you know what? Why not just monitor him a little more closely and see how he actually does? Does he keep it up in AA? Because he was in AA the year before, 3.27 ERA. But as you can see, he's got a history of dominating high A. Just slows down once he comes to it. Because he even dominated in low A as well. So we'll see if this is more just because he's much better than the competition, or if something's clicking and he's actually a good pitcher. We'll find out. Kevin Parada got him AAA. I think I ended up promoting him to AAA because he's been hitting really well. Average over 300, OPS nearly 1,000. Still a long way from being fully developed. As you can see here, every category still has room to improve. So there's no rush to call him up. And with Francisco Alvarez and Tomas now playing really well, there's really no rush to call him up, considering that he's not that good defensively. So it's not like you're adding an elite defender. You're just adding a potential bat, which when it comes to bats, they're unknown. At least at defense, if you're really good defensively, you have a good role as a backup, but there's no need to rush him. First baseman, I did end up trading for Matt Mervis. He was a trade. We got him from Chicago Cubs, if you're not familiar with him. I liked him last year when he got called up, but he just looked so bad. I still like him as a player, but again, now he's got Michael Busch in front of him too, so he's really finding himself having a hard time playing. So maybe that's why I traded him. Here he's going to get some. He did have a little bit of run with me. Just didn't play too well with me. 2 feet. Played in 4 games, started in 3, but did so bad that I had to just send him back down to AAA. I don't think he's played a single game there yet. Even this year, he was about average in AAA. As you can see, the year before, that's really good stuff. That's nearly elite level there. So he was playing really well up until he got to the major league level, and he's kind of slowed down. But he's got decent ratings here. So maybe he just needs. I'm not sure where you would necessarily put. Let's say you sent him to development lab. Like, what would you spend it on? Because he's really almost maxed out at everything. So I can't imagine his ratings going up much higher. Maybe try to move him to third. Who knows? But it'll be tough because Brett Baty is on fire currently at third base down here. But this is nothing new. Brett Baty has been on fire. As you can see, he was 1,000 here, 1,000 here, 825, 950. And it's not translating in the majors. Whatever his problem is, it's not clicking. Although he's still got some developing to go. He is fairly young, 24. Perhaps maybe with some more repetitions, he can become better because he's got decent third base stats. He can try to improve his defense and make him a good third baseman. And then left fielder Luis Angel Acuna. If you're not familiar, that's Ronald Acuna's little brother. That name. Although he doesn't look like he's going to be potentially as good, but he looks like he could develop into a solid player overall. A good leadoff hitter, just minus the power that his brother had. But maybe with the development lab, we can force him that power. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm afraid to use it on somebody that, like, if I put 45 power, like if he has 45 power and he maxes out at 45, and I put him in development lab, will it go up past 45? Will it hit like maybe 50 or 55? Like I don't know how all that works, and I'm afraid to waste because some of the programs take like 4 to 5 months. So it's kind of risky to experiment on somebody. Maybe if I sim a different leagues to see how things play out and how it actually works, that'll be different. But I don't know. I'll just take things as they go, I guess. But he's playing pretty well. I forgot to check his. Not enough to earn a promotion. So it looks like he's going to be again here at AA. But it's also tough to promote him. I'm starting to run into the problem where all my top players are in either AA or AAA. And they're all playing similar positions in the outfield. As you can see here, I got these couple of guys already in the majors. Then we have Jet Williams in AAA. He is a guy that I'm truly excited for. Currently have him at right field, although I think his eventual home should be left. Why don't I have him in left field right now? Could have him in left field. Why don't I have him in left field? Should have him in left field. I might change that around. What's his ratings? I think he should definitely be a left fielder instead, even though he hasn't played it yet. Well, that's why, because I had him in left field and I had you in left field. I think we can move him to left field. Good thing I made this thing. Let's move you to left field. I think he'll be better at left field long term. Might struggle to begin with, but we'll force the AI to start you at left field. He'll become better. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, if you're new to the game, you can control where the AI puts him in the lineup. So you can click on the player, Jet Williams, for example. You go to Actions. You set game strategy. You'll have to click this here, the lock to team strategies. This will keep him in AAA or AA, whatever you have him, so the AI doesn't keep moving him up and down levels. And obviously, here is where you can kind of force different things. You can force start, so they have to start him and use him at left field. So the AI will always have him in the lineup as a left fielder. Because ratings-wise, that's what he's best at. He's borderline center fielder, borderline right fielder, in my opinion. His arm strength is decent, but not a true right fielder's arm strength. And his power is just really isn't what you expect in a right fielder. In a left fielder, he's fine. Because he's got good range, and he'll have a more than strong enough arm, and he's efficient enough defensively. That left field is truly his home. So good thing I caught that. So we got left fielder. And I called him up to AAA because he was on fire in AA. Over 1200 OPS. He might have some growing pains. As you can see here, he was on fire in high A, got called up to AA, and slowed down significantly. Hopefully, and then as you can see this year, he was on fire. But he looks like he's in development to a really good player with the perfect right eye, which is awesome. He would truly be an outstanding leadoff hitter because he's gonna draw walks and then be an absolute nightmare on the base pass. And then who else do we have? We have right fielder Ryan Clifford, who I have up in high A. He's okay right now. Looks like he's slowly dying down as a prospect. He's playing well, 940 OPS. Batting average is a little low, in my opinion, 256. But I'm sure he's got tons of power. And he does profile well at right field. As you can see, his power projection is going to be 65 if he hits that. So what that tells me is he's going to be probably a number 5 or number 8 hitter in my lineup if he ever gets up there, as he will definitely have use with power. And he'll be a good enough defender to where I don't feel like having my lineup is a bad thing. He's just obviously one of those guys that hits home runs or pretty much strikes out. And that's it for the top prospects. So hopefully May is much kinder to us. And it looks like we may be able to get healthy and actually start playing some better baseball. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the end of May.